So I have just watched Hoppers, and it was really good. Hello everybody, and welcome to Offhand Ideas. Today we are going to be talking about Hoppers, and if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into Hoppers. Hoppers, I'd like to highlight as being a really good movie, but as always, Pixar's returned to their horror roots. It's a really good, kid horror movie. I'll get into that later, but I overall thought Hoppers was good, and I'm going to start with a plot synopsis. The plot of this movie is basically Mabel, a college student, wants to save this glade that her and her grandma went to when she was young, and it holds a special place in her heart, and this mayor, played by Sentinel Prime himself, John Hamm, wants to destroy it to just fill in with a highway. And her being obviously angered by this, goes into the mind of a beaver and tries to infiltrate the beaver clan and, stop the humans from doing this. It's basically Pixar's version of Avatar, so, they make a joke about that in the movie. But a thing I'd like to highlight about this movie is that it has really great horror aspects. Bruce from Finding Nemo is in this. Well, not really, but, it's pretty obvious their main design inspiration for the shark in this movie was Bruce from Finding Nemo. Her name is Brenda, but we'll get back into that later. My favorite character in this movie had to be George. He's voiced by Hal from Nature Cat and Louie from DuckTales. He was very nice. I just loved all the sounds the beavers made. They were just so cute, like the meep, meep, meep. It was just so cute. They were all adorable. And overall, the plot really is emotional, and it's bringing Pixar back to their roots of emotional stories, which I really, really love. Pixar on the recent times has been about it, and I feel like from the trailers of recent Pixar films like Elemental and Elio, I felt like I could have predicted the story and plot within 5 minutes, but Hoppers, which is something I was really curious about once the first trailer released, was the one Pixar movie I actually couldn't predict what was going to happen, which is what really intrigued me to go watch this movie. And I know a lot of people have been pooping on the animation, but I actually thought it wasn't that bad. I know a lot of Pixar movies have kind of been judged for having the same animation, but I like that animation. I think it's pretty good. And with the beavers, they're just so cute. And on to one of the most intriguing aspects of a Pixar movie, the villain. So yeah, the villain here is Titus from Fallout. I'm not making that up. His name is Titus. And his main motivation is basically just to kill Mabel because in the movie, his mom is the insect queen and Mabel, in anger, squished his mom and dragged her guts on the wall. This movie is very dark. And there's all these different types of kings of different, animals. There's, a swan king, voiced by Paul Burnside. If you get that reference, comment in the comments. There's a hydra queen of snakes, and there's, a fish queen, and there's the aforementioned insect queen, and there's Beaver King, George. I love you, Beaver King. And there's a frog king. He's a real one. And, they were all really cool. I liked the mythology of the animals. It was quite nice. And all the emotional aspects of her trying to save this glade for her grandma are done really well. It's a very, very sweet type of movie, and it's really emotional to some people who have lost their grandma. And on to the other aspects, the characters. The characters are great. As I said before, George is my favorite, but the lizard meme guy, I loved him. He was kind of funny. And the bear and beaver, who looked like he was going through something the entire movie, they're not really developed, but they're still pretty cool. I kind of like their designs. And all the animals are done really well. And I specifically liked the horror aspect of the movie, which is where we're going to get into. So, the lead up to the scene is that they all want to kill this, the John Hamm mayor, and they have kidnapped him, and they go back to the lab. They've kidnapped him and Mabel because Mabel got turned back into a human after the scientists catched her, and I did not expect for them to go this far. So, the John Hamm mayor gets his face measured by the scientists, and the whole point of this movie is humans hopping into beavers. That's why it's called Hoppers. But I didn't expect for them to go the opposite way of an animal hopping into a Terminator-like human. They made a clone of the John Hamm mayor and hopped Knight Titus from Fallout into the Terminator John Hamm Mayer clone. Are you still following? It is insanity. It's so insane. I was not expecting for them to go that far, but it is a really nice touch. They really thought outside the box with that. And yeah, they want to kill all humans, and they're going to like blow up their eardrums at this big party, which the clone of the mayor is going to attend instead of the actual mayor. The John Hamm Sentinel Prime mayor was one of my favorite characters in the movie. I really liked that they made him a beaver at the end. He's a good-looking beaver. Yeah, it was great. The climax was done well. They literally rip off his face, the robot clone, and he literally just looks like the mimic from Five Nights at Freddy's. And yeah, it was some real Silence of the Lambs stuff back there. And it's all great. I just think it's really good. And the jokes are done really well in this movie. It's a lot of dark humor, which I really liked, and I didn't think Pixar was going to go so far with it, but they did. And yeah, everything was done great in this movie, and I really cannot complain. There are some issues I have with this movie. Sometimes, like, the plot doesn't flow as well as it should have. That kind of bothered me, but at the same time, I don't really care. Like, that's pretty much a complaint I have with every movie nowadays. Like, the plot sometimes doesn't flow to, like, one scene to the next as much as I would have liked it to, but, you know, it's fine. And I feel like the scene where she was introducing everyone was kind of rushed, but I feel like the bear, lizard, and the other beaver could have had more character development, but that's just a small nitpick. But yeah, Hoppers is great. I give it a pretty big 9.5 out of 10. I was not expecting to enjoy this movie as much as I was, and the ending was really sweet with Mabel and George having this newfound relationship, and yeah, they sat on the rock as her and her grandma once did. I really hope Pixar makes more films like this. It's going to be great, but let's see what they're going to do this summer with the Toy Story 5 iPad Kid structure plotline. I mean, they did go with Hoppers, so let's see how good they do adapting the Gen Alpha generation. I'm a Gen Alpha child who grew up during the rise of iPads. Pixar, you better not screw that up. So, yeah, tell me your thoughts on Hoppers down in the comments. I found it very enjoyable. I really loved it. Tell me your thoughts down in the comments, and as always, subscribe!